teach it all to yourself, or do you know it for a long time?
Did I teach it?
Yeah, just all. Do you know?
Yeah, no,
for a long time?
I mean, I was doing photography for a while, but I just kind of got into this, and then
it evolves.
Yeah, like trial by, or what is it? Yeah, trial by fire, basically.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll never get old of that.
Yeah, that's. You don't hear that with my Nissan Versa, that's for sure.
No, you don't hear them anywhere, you know.
What gasoline? Does it take gasoline, or is it?
Yeah, the best gasoline, because when they were made, it was as pure as it could get.
Right.
And so now they put ethanol in it, and it dilutes it. So just to keep it running properly.
So you're saying the top octane, you have to do the 91
the
or 92?
Yeah. And I'll go to certain gas stations that I can get it, I know it's a bit better.
Right.
Or at least advised.
Yeah.
And other than that, keep the fluids nice, keep her oiled, try any fluid, coolant.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. Okay, Olivia.
All right. I love to hear myself talk, so this is going to be good.
This will be interesting for you. You'll get over that quick. Tell us who the hell you are and what you do.
All right, well, buckle up. I grew up on a horse farm in Maryland, and
Beautiful.
Was raised by a woman who is, she's my hero, but she raised me very particularly. She's out of the USSR, so I'm Ukrainian.
Tough mama.
Very tough. Yeah. So I grew up with the tiger mom, is what I would say.
Tiger mom, eh?
But yeah, she kind of raised me with a work ethic and a sense of adventure. She just kind of encourages me to do whatever I want to do within reason, of course. And she forgives me for my mistakes, but yeah, she always pushes me to try things that I feel like would be crazy, or like, for instance, I spent a lot of time abroad. And I did that. I moved when I was 18 over there, and I kind of like developed and matured very quickly, I would say, over there. It fast-tracked my way to adulthood for sure.
And so you left Maryland at 18?
Yes, I did.
And was that your first time out of the country?
No, my mom and my dad are avid travelers. They really love to show us other cultures. So growing up, we would go to like Morocco and Turkey, and they would try to expose me to as much as possible. So I wasn't, because a lot of people in Maryland, it can go one of two ways. You can be kind of like a conservative racist, or you're more liberal. Depends on the proximity to DC, I think. Yeah, she tried to make sure that we leaned the liberal way, but and then now I'm out here and I've been here for 5 years, and time flies, It feels like, I guess the pandemic, you can argue that I've only been here for 3. But,
well, you were here for the 2 years of the pandemic.
I moved here 2018, so I got a little bit of authentic LA before everything changed, because that's what I understand, is that LA was a lot better and or different. Most places are. Before the pandemic.
Sure, and LA can change year by year anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly I've seen it change a hell of a lot over the years.
Yeah, so you've been here for a long time?
I've been here 13 years.
So you're an Angelino. I think once you make it over 5 years, I think I still have some more.
Bit of time to go. They say 7.
Is it 7?
Well, this is what when I moved here, a friend of mine said to me, he goes, "You need 7 years to settle into here and figure it out."
I think that tracks actually to my trajectory.
That made me go. He said 7 years, and I'm like,
you get a lot of attention with this thing.
It brings out the joy in people.
Yeah.
It's it's a pleasure for that alone. So many people walk around here with a scowl or just in a gloom.
Yep.
Something, but I can add a little bit of sunshine to their life.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it.
I feel all of that.
Yeah, I try to always do the same.
It's a mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, try not to be a dick. My dad has a phrase that he grew up saying, try not to suck and don't be a dick. So that's my motto.
Nice. And you live by it.
Yeah, you know, if the opportunity presents itself to be a dick, I try not to be, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't say I'm as good as you. I do my best. I'm a lot better now. I am a lot better now.
Do you attribute that to LA and just mellowing out? Or?
No, certainly not.
I
think people can really push your buttons here, you know.
Yeah.
I just me for, you know, just recognizing things and realizing it's me. You know, I'm one of those, if they didn't look naff, I'd wear a t-shirt that says it's all my fault and I'm not a victim, you know. So, and I think just that mentality or reminding myself of those things puts me in there. It's like, it's up to me if I want to have a good day. It's up to me if I want to not have a good day.
Yeah.
Just change your perspective.
And no one can turn a bad day into a good day, really, for you. It's all about your mindset.
It's all you, yeah.
Yep.
No one's going to change that. You know, you walk outside the door grumpy and unhappy, it's going to be very difficult for someone to lift that cloud. But if you're out and about and you're happy and you're good with life, it doesn't matter how someone else is coming at you, you know. It just bounces off you.
Yeah. And
it's a tough one.
Yeah, and LA, I think, kind of forces you to
sink or swim place.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I had a couple moments where I almost sank, and I lost a job out here prior to the pandemic, and kind of deciding whether or not I wanted to leave and reevaluating what LA means. LA is a lot bigger than I guess what people think it is. It's kind of the manifestation of who you want to be, kind of your dreams and aspirations. And I saw at the time leaving LA was kind of like an admission of failure, and that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll be in LA forever, but I think it's kind of a necessary like catalyst chamber for me at the moment. It's helping me develop personally, professionally, but it's not for the faint.
No, and it's multiple cities within one city.
Yeah, it's not. You know, precisely.
You know, and it's a fast-moving place for such a chill vibe in the sense that, you know, you've heard that phrase, I'm sure here, hurry up and wait.
Yes.
You know, and it's very much like that. Like I at first that would get at me, but now I've just accepted. I know how it is when people say something, you know, that's going to take a while. It's okay. It's all good. I understand that.
Yep. Everyone operates on their own timeline here, and things happen when they're supposed to in due time. I noticed as well. You really can't force an issue, even in not even in LA, just in life.
Yeah.
I feel like when there's some saying, it's like when the person is ready, the teacher arrives, or something along those lines.
Say that again. This guy's like giving me. He's flirting with me.
Oh, yeah, no teeth.
Sexy motherfucker.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he's homeless or not. It's hard to tell if someone's a surfer or they're homeless around these parts.
It's kind of a balance these days, you know.
Yeah, but I was saying that it's when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's the phrase.
Yes.
And I feel like LA kind of helps that occur.
It's a magic place, that is for sure. I mean,
a lot of inspiration through people and things.
Yeah, you can find it anywhere. For me, when I moved here, the canyons is what sucked me in, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
That's what drew you?
Oh, big time. I remember, just the feel of it. I felt like I was on another planet, you know?
Yeah.
And just the vibe and like almost voices talking to me, you know?
In particular, like what? Like through this Malibu mountains, like that trail?
No,
I'm trying to think about
in Topanga.
Topanga, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super hippie. I feel like it has this this energy to it that's
very much so.
Very unique as well.
You know, it's you drive around there, you walk around any of the trails there, and it's Hotel California. It just instantly comes to mind.
Yep, I've heard very good things about Topanga. I've never actually spent the night at an Airbnb, but there's a lot of beautiful places up there, and there's a couple of really great cafes.
Yeah. And there was a great spot there called Froggy's. It's gone now.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, called Froggy's because all around it's just you could hear frogs all the time.
Oh, yeah. They have those back in Maryland. Those are very nostalgic.
Yeah, I think, it's a shame that when a place like that left. But it can happen here. Things just flip over, turn into something new.
Yep. Yeah.
And you roll with it, you know?
Yeah, like a storefront can be an entirely different storefront next day.
We could go on about history around here. And what I've seen, the changes, and like every year, there's like, oh, look there. They just change constantly, you know? something else. Someone else comes up with an idea because that one wasn't working.
Yep, it's cyclical as well. Also.
All right, that brings me to what it is that you do, Olivia. What you are doing here.
Yeah. Well, I figure that out day by day. Right now, I'm in my self-actualization era. I'm trying to figure out how to balance creativity while also maintaining financial stability and also exploring the creative arts through modeling. And it was always a childhood dream of mine. When I was younger, I shot for American Apparel when I was like 17. And then I went to college, so I didn't really keep up with it. But I remember it sparked something in me, and I never thought of myself as creative. And it's such a fun collaborative experience to shoot and create and come up with concepts. And I'm frankly not even in it for the money. It's more so just to see where I can take it. And the recognition is nice. I think getting published is more important to me right now than getting paid. To be able to be recognized for what I create, and to work with really great minds, and to continue to build out my network of people that think the same. And you have to find your tribe here. It's like very tribe oriented, and then you meet through other people. And yeah, I'd love to see where modeling goes, and I pursue it every day in a different way. I reach out to people on Instagram in real life, at events, and I'm always searching for inspiration. So
always networking,
always looking for inspiration, keeping my eyes peeled either through like pop culture or international politics. It's something that I feel like modeling, you can express a lot of different sentiments, and what's the right word? Evoking, I guess, is so the word I'm looking for.
Sorry, say that again.
Evocation. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what the plural of that would be, but like evoking an emotion in someone that you can find middle ground with someone is something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
But then I have a lot of duality because I work full time and I work remote, which God bless, I'll never go back to an office ever again. But yeah, it's striking a balance between the two, really, that I'm trying to figure out, and that's like a day by day thing as well. But
so what's the day job? What's the in-house work?
In-house is I work in tech. I'm a girl in tech. Yeah, so I yell at the software developers. I'm a project manager, and make sure that they get their development sprints done, and they do all their quality assurance checks. And that's from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I work East Coast hours, so the rest of the day is mine, and I usually use that time for, developing my portfolio and shooting and location scouting.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so far so good. I feel like I have a jam-packed schedule, but it's fulfilling. And I'm trying to figure out what success means for me with modeling. I mean, yes, it would be nice to get signed with a larger agency. There's always like that motivation to keep going, but it's the appreciation and the gratefulness also that I'm trying to incorporate in my life. But
and at the moment you have that, I guess, in the modeling world, it must be a luxury to you can work independently as well as with your agency.
Yeah.
I believe with a larger one that would not be possible.
No. I'm technically in development is what they call it, and it's when you identify what your brand is and you begin to shoot through a perspective of like a persona, and you craft this image of yourself, and then you have to start only accepting jobs that build up that particular brand. So development is that process of identifying it with your agent, and that's something that I'm doing. And there's like a free-spiritedness that I really like about myself. I think that's something I lean into with my modeling persona. So it's crafting that version of me that I feel like I've shoved down for a while, and kind of tapping into the curiosity that I have naturally. So that's kind of my MO.
Yeah. Do you find with your modeling that you're getting more in touch with yourself, what you want to, like you said, finding that brand, finding who you are?
Yeah, I feel like in some ways I feel like I don't know myself, and every shoot that I do, I push through with a different emotion I try to have a different vision for everything that I do to not only diversify my book, but to also like help explore other sides of my personality and like what makes me tick. And I always, growing up, I never found common ground with like the theater kids or people that were in acting. And it's so funny that now there's a lot of parallels with modeling with that, because I am a rather stoic and serious person sometimes. I think my natural demeanor is more stoic, so kind of evoking more crazy or esoteric emotions and expressions is like out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So like these are all things that I'm like showing myself I can do, and kind of breaking my own stigmas of myself or preconceptions. Yeah. But yeah, it's a day by day basis. I think some people wake up and they know exactly who they are and exactly what they want, and I think that's really beautiful. And then some people are complacent, and I think that's also okay. I don't think you necessarily have to have a dream, but I ended up in LA by accident, and
do tell.
Yeah, I ended up here for my ex-boyfriend, and when we broke up, it kind of, I sat with myself, and I knew I didn't move to LA for a dream.
That beeped?
Yes, it did beep. And now it's saying powering off.
Motherfucker. Okay, we got these two going.
Okay.
I'll pull over somewhere and turn that over.
Okay, it's out of juice?
I don't know why. It's a new battery. But that's why it turned off, yeah. That bizarreness. But we got these two going.
Okay. So
hang on now. So, I didn't lose you there, but the boyfriend came out here first, didn't he?
Yes. So, because I didn't come out here because a lot of people move to LA with a suitcase and a dream, and I didn't fit that prototype.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was taking the LA experience for granted, and that when I broke up with my ex, that was more mutual than me actually breaking up. But I just was like reevaluating the fact that I'm kind of in a perfect place to make my dreams happen, and no one's going to make my dreams happen for me. And as ridiculous as it sounds to be, to become a model, I'm not saying I'll be Giselle Bundchen or anything, but it's like using the opportunities you have around you, and not taking the experience for granted, really. So I ended up here not chasing modeling, but now I'm out here chasing modeling. Yeah. So it's just funny that a lot of people, I feel like maybe it would happen in the reverse. But at first I really resented LA, and I did not like it.
Was that part of the breakup?
Yeah, I wanted to move to New York. He wanted a lot of things that I didn't want, and he was very stubborn. Just didn't want. There was not a lot of like middle ground that we could reach on a lot of things as far as like where we saw our lives going. Yeah. And eventually, like, we reached an impasse. But it wasn't like a terrible breakup. It made me realize that I'm a very giving person, and I give into what other people would like to do. But I never really stood up for myself. And I'm like, what does Olivia want? And where does Olivia see herself going? And I would have known where I was going to live if we got married, and I would have known what my life would have looked like. So I kind of took a leap of faith by staying and choosing to pursue this. Otherwise, I was thinking about moving home, and that's no fun. Yeah. And New York always was my dream to some extent, but it's a much different city, like most cities after the pandemic, and
for sure
doesn't resonate with me as much.
I have not been back. I was there the December before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
Yeah, and I lived in New York for years, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And even then, when I was there, I mean, everywhere changes, right? But even then, it had done like a 360 on me. I mean, there were still places that I knew and friends that were still working in the bars that they were working in before. And
right.
So you're always going to find elements that haven't changed, but
it's the overall current.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more of an East Village, East Side.
Yeah, I worked down in which is now called the Grattan, I believe.
They come up with a new name for every neighborhood, like every 2 years.
It was called Lunasa. It was on First and Mark's Place.
Oh yeah.
I worked there, but I also worked Midtown as well.
Oh, you were all over then.
In the Irish bars,
Yeah.
But so was Lunasa. But different when it's in the East Village,
Yeah.
When you're Midtown, you'll definitely get a lot of like on the Saturdays and Sundays. No, go on. Saturdays and Sundays full of Irish, tourists coming up.
Oh yeah. It's probably more of like
weekends.
Yeah, and out like a excursion that people like band together to do.
And I'll tell you a little secret that that we used to do, because it's not, the tipping culture is not there,
Among Europeans?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So we had a button that said B&T. For most people that just means black and tan.
Okay.
But for us it meant bridge and tunnel. So on the weekends, as well as when it was tourists and they're ordering, we hit that button and it would give us like 10 or 15%, I can remember, it was years ago, and it was through the system, it came to us.
That's, I won't tell a soul, but
well, it's too late now.
Yeah, exactly, the whole world knows.
Yeah.
You got to look out for yourself first, and the service industry is brutal. I've done my time in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone every level. I started in kitchens, I bus tables, I in hotels, got on the floor, got behind the bar, and behind the bar at a certain time, you were running the show.
And that's
wonderful.
The money's the best there too.
The best. Oh yeah.
And there's a sense of prestige. I feel like the bartenders, they run the show.
Yeah. You're almost like the concierge as well at a hotel. People are asking you where to go, and you meet all the people. Everyone comes in, and you meet so and so, and you've got hookups here and there, and they're like, come down to me on your day off. You come in, you're treated like royalty. So it definitely had its perks. I'm sure it's a bit the same, but I know that even like you go back after 9/11, that a lot of places were getting shut down. A lot of the Irish bars as well, because there was a ton of fellas there that didn't have papers, and then that all changed. Right after that all changed. So overnight, a lot of places were just gone, and then one of the owners or an owner of a spot, he may have interest in another place, so all his staff was coming over. People were cutting up their shifts and all of that. Bit of the gold lining was taken out of it, just for me anyway.
Right.
And then life moves on.
Exactly. Yeah, when you think life doesn't go on, it does. Anyways.
It always. It's never going to stop. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be new opportunities, different places.
That is very, very true. And again, going back to the whole notion of LA and what it does, is I feel like it presents those ways to kind of keep moving and keep pushing and entering a new chapter of your life. Yeah.
I mean, here's a place you could sit back, like anywhere, you could sit back and just let the world do what it does to you. Or you can step outside and take the opportunities, because every day something pops up, Something new is there, or something that you can add to the path that you're on.
Right. Right.
And it's like you're pointing out with your modeling, that it's expanding for you. Now it sounds like it has you thinking of acting, of getting into acting.
Yeah.
Because I would believe I think I look into acting classes for public speaking. I've looked into it, and I should have done pre-pandemic. There was a place near me that was ideal. All the other ones, a lot of them seem to be online and that. And I'm just not. You know what? I think I'm learning how to speak publicly better through this, because I'm not as conscious now of the cameras as I was
when you first started.
First time I did it, I'm like acting like myself instead of just being myself.
Yeah.
And
it's the feeling like you're being perceived, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And it takes a minute for that to be dumped. Like the first thing I edited, I was like on my own editing, blushing. Because I'm going, that's me. That isn't. But I knew that it's not you. I could see clearly that it was me acting as me.
Right. It's you're cosplaying as yourself almost, and it's like you become a caricature.
Yeah, very conscious of how I'm coming across.
Yeah.
And watching what I'm saying.
And that's why I think acting, I've never done an acting class, and again, I'm hesitant to do it because I feel like that's out of my nature to do something like that.
Yeah.
But it teaches you, again, public speaking, oration is really important, and also the range of emotion, especially for my profession, is paramount. But it's finding a good spot as well, and being able to gel with the teacher and being able to take critique from someone. I personally don't get online classes as much. My attention span, we live in an era where I'm ADHD, so it's like I need to be with like an actual person practicing, rehearsing. It's much more my speed.
Yeah, like in person.
Yeah, I would if I was going to do an acting class.
Couldn't do it online.
Couldn't do it like an online one, no.
I wouldn't keep it up. I might do it a couple of times, and it couldn't be the same. I wouldn't think without that physical.
There's the micro
connection.
movements as well, and like I feel like there's
body language.
Nuance, that you can't really capture.
No.
If we've learned anything from the pandemic and Zoom meetings, that
yeah. Okay, so historically then, you moved here, you followed the boyfriend here.
Followed the boyfriend, yes.
And that was how many years ago?
2018, April 2018.
Oh, yeah.
I drove across the country.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of, if you're coming from the East Coast, you kind of have to do that. It's like a rite of passage. And
I have yet to do that.
You're not missing much. We did the fast track. So I had to be here in a certain amount of time for a job. So Grand Canyon was something that was shockingly beautiful. I was not expecting that to be as profound to me.
Yeah.
But everything else, the flyover states are called that for a reason. Don't think I'd ever go back to Ohio or Indiana again if I was given the opportunity. But
whoops. Okay, we got to make another stop.
Okay.
This is that one. But continue.
Just the flyover states. Yeah, you're not missing much.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to go through Arizona and like the lower Southwest region, so that was bucket list material.
Yeah.
And made it out in 2018. I was much more naive and much more reckless with my spending and my life in general. And and I lost a job as a result of that. I had to grow up very quickly, and my boyfriend at the time was 5 years older than me, and I oftentimes felt like I was the older one because I was the one with the job, and he was working in the service industry. He's also out here chasing his dreams as a producer, which I think also inspired me to chase mine. I never thought of myself as creative, and if he could be creative, why couldn't I be creative? So that kind of also got my wheels turning, and then that door opened to me during the pandemic, which is a weird time. But
the directing,
modeling, creating, shooting. I met a girl at like I don't want to call it like a witchcraft store, but
call it a witchcraft store. I want to hear about that.
It's called House of Intuition. I'm a spiritual person. Yeah. There's a couple. There's one on Melrose, but I was just browsing for candles, and we bumped into each other, struck up conversation, and she was the one that pushed me to do my first test shoot, as an adult, and then I started taking digitals, and we were off to the races. So it's just about who you meet at the right time, and when you're right in the right headspace. So
you got to put it out there, right?
Right. You have to
have the intention
and be open to it and open to receiving. I think it's all about your energetic acceptance.
Yeah.
But
and it might not come exactly as you're thinking, but you can see the signs. You can sense it.
Yeah, I was expecting things to happen in a very particular set of ways, and I let myself down a lot because I had too rigid of expectations. So when and this is also kind of what I'm focusing on as I grow older, is letting go of the expectations, but not letting go of your work ethic, just being open to how it manifests in your life one way or another, because it's bound to.
Oh yeah.
It just, not everything happens exactly how you expect it, and
no.
That's kind of the beauty of life also, because if we knew everything that was going to happen, what's the point?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you learn that. You learn that over time for sure.
Yep.
Opportunities don't come exactly as you have planned. But they're there.
And as far as like my tenure in LA, how much longer, I don't know. That's also something that I'm treating as kind of a rolling target, because I didn't expect to move here. I was given an ultimatum, really, actually. So
we're breaking up, or you're moving?
Yeah, pretty much. So I was strong-armed into it. And a lot of people were like, LA's great. I'm like, I just never saw myself moving to LA. Never had been prior. Moved here without ever have been here. Well, I had visited like once or twice briefly, and I have no family on the West Coast. So it's definitely like a whole new chapter of my life. And I don't know, if I hadn't moved to LA, I don't think I would be modeling. I think I would be a whole different person. So
I was going to ask that. Like, So the whole LA, the move to LA as well is what sparked you.
Yeah, I think I would be just corporate.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. I don't know. Maybe I would be happy. I definitely would be in New York or perhaps London, but the weather there was, almost intolerable for me. So I don't think so, actually.
Yeah.
Culture-wise, yes.
Yeah.
But it definitely feeds into my inhibitions. And I am a former, I can say that, cigarette smoker, and was one for 10 years, thanks to London. I moved there when I was 18, and everyone smoked. So.
Everyone smokes in England?
Yeah.
Food
and
Europe. Beer and Europe.
Yeah, and alcoholism is very normalized as well. Mm-hmm. Just having a pint after work every day.
It's the meeting place.
Yep, which is, there's an appreciation I have for it too. I think LA really lacks that peer-to-peer connection that you get walking around. And I think New York has more of that.
I mean, New York definitely has that. I'm not so sure. At this point, I wouldn't be 100% sure if it's the way that I remember it as being. But I would still think there's many spots that are like that. You still have that pub vibe.
Yeah, and you can still do a bar crawl with walking, and here it's just a logistical nightmare, and who's Ubering and where are you parking, and God forbid you get a DUI, and it's just everything's a mission. You have to kind of commit to a neighborhood if you're going to go out here, but
it's find the bar you want to go, you go there.
Yep, and that's your night.
And the drinking culture isn't the same.
No, it's not. It's people are really into mushrooms now. I've noticed. I feel like
very into the psychedelics.
Psychedelics are having a resurgence. It's very cool to not drink now, is what I've noticed.
I know. It's because LA is very judgmental.
There we go. Yes, you're under a microscope for most things here.
I mean, I was in Vegas at the weekend.
Yeah.
I was saying, and people are so friendly, and in the bars, it has that East Coast element to it, where I could walk into any bar in New York, I'll be talking to the bartender and the people around me within a few minutes.
Right.
I walk into bars here, no one wants to know. If you come in on your own, 9 out of 10 times you're leaving that place on. And I don't mean picking someone up, but I just mean you're leaving without anyone talking to you.
It's a solo, silent trip. Yeah,
because you came in on your own. Oh, then who's this Billy No Mates? Where it's like
exactly.
But you all need a crew to go anywhere to hold each other's hands.
Right, but then meeting new people when you're with a group of people, it's almost like this antithesis because you really can't when you're with a group of people.
Groups don't. They don't do that.
Nope, they don't really converge.
It's not here. You go out. It's very hard to meet people in this.
Yes, it's all through friends of friends and work.
Networking.
Yep. And that's something I struggled with here is finding, like I said earlier, like my tribe, which is cliche, but just the people that share that same value system.
Yeah. And
I'm very passionate about electronic music, and
I noticed that too.
Yeah, very, very passionate about electronic music. I wish I could produce. I don't produce.
I do that. I DJ. I was DJing in Sayulita for that time.
Wow. So okay, and so you produce and DJ.
I do.
That's amazing.
And I play guitar, the bass. I record everything for all of this. I do all the music as well.
And you don't have to worry about like rights or anything like royalties, or it's all yours.
It's all mine. And it gives me that outlet I can combine everything creative that I do into one box.
And it just converges, and it's like a final product. That's really neat.
And that wasn't the idea. It was just like, it is though. You know what I mean? It was like it wasn't. How can I combine everything? It would just naturally, things came together that way. Yep.
And again, beauty of life. It's just things kind of. I think if you genuinely put forth your intention to pursue something, things fall into place, and it will converge.
Yeah.
At least I hope so. I'm trying to remain optimistic.
Have you thought then of that? What's all the rage right now is female DJs.
It's true.
You could kill it.
I'm burning the candle in the fifth dimension at all ends of the candle. I feel like I need to have 27 hours in a day, but it's also very intimidating. I'm a perfectionist, and that's just the thought that I have to fuck up in front of people is very intimidating. But that's also the human experience.
It is. Most of the time they don't even know.
That's true.
You know? And I've heard guys playing, I'm like, And the crowd are going nuts. I'm like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not looking at it the same way as you would be looking at it.
Right.
Or I would be judging myself or anything like that.
Through a spectator, I guess, more so, where they're just in the moment rather than analyzing.
Yeah, if you're, some people find it hard to let go of that. I mean, if I'm there, I'm listening. I might hear something, I'll be like, but everyone makes mistakes, and that's how
and you have an ear for it as well, because
I
you
can
do
hear what's happening. But we all make mistakes, and that's how you know someone's actually playing. Because these days, there's a lot of people who are not playing. It's a soundtrack. I can see them.
Yeah.
They're pressing buttons, and there's no reason to be pressing a button right now. And then a track comes in, they didn't do anything. I'm like,
yep.
Guys, males are just besotted by these boobs bouncing, and they think the girl is DJing.
Yep, exactly.
It's a con,
and it's more of it's to bring more of a crowd than I think actually for the music itself.
They're bringing in Foxy Delilah, who's got an OnlyFans.
Right, exactly. It's more of like this persona that they're pushing, I think, rather than the love of the music. But there's a couple female DJs that I really respect. But
brilliant.
There's less talented female DJs than male DJs, I would say.
There's just more of male. It's more of a...
It's a male-dominated sphere, for sure.
Because it's something guys always wanted to do, and guys go forward, they want that side of it. Now it's becoming, I think, more... What I think pulls back on females doing it is that there's... A female has the ability to fake it and get paid.
Right, because there's the sex factor, and people
absolutely.
are distracted by it, and
I mean, it's a joke. A buddy of mine will send me a thing, and he's like, "Check out the mixing on this one." And all it is she's just like boobs are bouncing.
Yep, exactly.
And there's a dude behind her stepping in every so often, and you're like,
beat matching and all that.
This is what just takes away from that whole thing. When it all kicked off in the '90s, and it was prior to that, but like the '90s was a heyday. But in that era, no one was looking at the DJ. The DJ was part of the party. Now it's like people stand in front, mesmerized by someone who's not creating music. He's creating a vibe through other people's music, putting them together. Some of them will be his tracks or her tracks,
Right.
I get that. But I find it quite bizarre.
There's a celebrity element.
Yeah, there's like this person here, one person mixing music together every so often because the tracks are playing.
Right.
And there's legions of people all transfixed on that person up there who's doing that.
Yeah.
Versus mixing with each other in the crowd,
integrating into the body of the...
Yeah, it used to be like, the DJs that playing up there, it's all good, but everyone's like doing their own thing. It's like a party together,
Yeah.
I guess there wasn't... Back then, it wasn't that they weren't getting the money that they're getting now, or like I said, I was in Vegas and you see it was Calvin Harris or something, I don't know.
Yeah, all the residencies.
And these guys are making
millions
of dollars. So, it's money elevates someone's status above talent. That's the world we live in.
More and more, but I think that there's kind of a counter movement towards that now. I think people are looking for authenticity a bit more.
Underground.
I think we reached our peak of kind of chasing those status symbol DJs or kind of looking for those oversaturated individuals, but now there's I think more of a taste for, or maybe that's just growing up and maybe I'm just maturing and that's what I'm seeing more often, but I feel like it's more of a group consensus that everyone is looking for more authenticity and fresh.
But you know what's really authentic, and I have to get there, it's on a Sunday. This is what always throws me, but they're called Sunday sessions, I believe, and it's vinyl.
Vinyl DJs are incredible.
There's no faking with vinyl.
Nope, you have to be a master.
Have to know your deal. I started on vinyl,
that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask you. So
on belt drives as well, which are rubber bands.
So you know your shit.
I can play.
Respect.
Thank you. These days though, I'm like one of the masses. I got the CDJ 3000s and I got the club gear.
Yeah.
And I did play here when I came back. I just didn't really gel with the guys who were the promoters. It was just this. I don't know. I mean, they're good people.
I don't necessarily go out anymore here. No. I find that the best nights out in electronic music are abroad.
In Mexico, I felt like I was back in the 90s, I swear. It's the vibe.
Yep.
People are, there'll be people at the front who's got the the DJ's part of the vibe again.
Exactly.
And you're not a million miles away. Like, people are coming up to you when you're playing and buying you shots or whatever, or offering you the world, you know.
Yep. I've noticed that.
And it can just keep going, and block parties and private parties, and
if only I knew Spanish.
Community. I am back learning Spanish. I have my class tomorrow.
Oh, good for you. So you're actually like properly
learning
doing it.
Yeah, when I was down there, I picked up, some, but you forget it. And the area I lived in, I did need it because a lot of them didn't speak Spanish. So, but I just would take what I needed,
Right.
And I learned a lot of slang, as you do.
Yes, and you just pick it up through immersion and hearing other people say stuff. And I have absolutely no Spanish history, but I could enough to get around and order a cab and say what I want on the menu. But the nightlife there is something else, and I feel like I only get a rich experience going out when it's abroad. Here it's more so nights with my friends, like in more of like a relaxed bar setting, that are more fulfilling for me. I don't find the whole promoter scene, it's kind of empty feeling, kind of, there's not much inspiration, like the going out clubs, table service. It
never worked. I've been to 1 or 2, 3, I don't know, not many. Yeah. And they were at the beginning, and I'm not into this. It's just not.
It's a bit soulless. Yeah.
And the over flexing of it all. Like,
that's that kind of sums it up.
So you find it hard to meet them people outside your circle here.
Yeah, that's still something that I'm struggling with, is to really put myself in situations where I have to interact with other people and ask people questions and get out of my comfort zone. I'm kind of shy, I would say. Not so much anymore. I'm teaching my modeling also, is because I like lean into an alter ego, so it's like pushing me out of my more reserved state of being. Yeah. But here it's you don't have that like walking on the street, bumping into someone. Maybe a coffee shop here and there if you're in a more walkable part of town, but it's luckily I had a couple built-in friends moving out here through, my ex, but and then through people, you meet people, you get invited. But it's very rare that you meet someone happenstance that you click with and that you gel with. It's becoming an social media era, where everything's on apps now, and there's just such depersonalization.
Do you use the apps? Are you on dating apps?
To like no avail.
What do you? I want to hear these stories. What are you using? Which ones? Because there's so many right now, right? Yeah,
Tinder has like I would say a certain. Its reputation precedes it, so I don't use Tinder. I use Raya, which is pretentious.
Raya. And, what is that now?
You have to be approved.
You're special.
Pretty much, and then you have to pay for it. Oh, apparently John Mayer's on it, so that's the reason. That's why you're on I'm waiting to run into him. But I've used that. I use Hinge, and I've noticed such a distinct difference. I've dated a couple people since my serious relationship, but since I broke up with him in 2020, I've noticed there's been a huge shift in like the way people interact on dating apps. The attention span is so much shorter. People just won't finish a conversation for the most part. It is bizarre. Like I guess it's considered ghosting, sure, but I'm guilty of it as well. But there's just no accountability to like finishing a thought, or like, I don't know, it's just very push button, get banana, next thing, instant gratification. Yeah. I feel like it's creating a generation of people that are never satisfied, and I feel like that's a common theme of people in LA, especially people that I date. It's like they're never satisfied. They always think they can do one better. It's like LA's a social climbing place. And
when there's so much with dating apps, there's so much choice.
Right, and that's the problem. Yeah, and back in the day, there wasn't as much choice.
No, I mean, you had to meet people in a natural way. You had to, in a natural setting, and you actually had to meet them. Whereas the dating apps, I doubt you meet all the people you are chatting to.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. I think I met up with probably...
What's the percentage?
Of all the people I've talked to, 4% probably. I've gone out on like maybe 9-10 dates.
Yeah. And this is over a couple of years or
over
months?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And someone else that I dated was actually a mutual friend of a friend, but
Yeah.
and then someone else that I knew growing up, but that just happened to be, they happened to move to LA, so that was almost like a scenario that shouldn't have happened. But yeah, I think the whole meeting people thing, I don't go into an office anymore, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But it's just like I spend a lot of time in solitude, and I've gotten to know myself really well, which is great. And I feel like I bring a lot to the table as a person. And I'm in therapy, I'm working on myself and all that shit. But it's, it's just really, how the hell do you meet someone in a city like LA? Everyone's in the car, everyone's on the 405, you know?
Everyone's in their bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is a bubble here. And I get FOMO here and there, but it's mostly about this pressure to, I feel like there's almost like not that I'm like following a biological clock. I actually don't want children, but it's just like I feel like it's expected, you know, as a girl in her mid 20s, you know, you should be dating someone. There's an expectation that you should be. There's just a lot of pressure to find that and fill that expectation.
Do you think Los Angeles is a place where you can find that, though?
No, I don't think. I'm starting to think no.
Yeah.
So I'm contemplating moving to Mexico City. I think I might pull the trigger on that in maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
It all depends where modeling goes, though, and that's why I'm trying not to have expectations. It's like if that ends up becoming my primary source of income, and if my agent wants to send me abroad, you know, there's discussions of like going to like do the Japanese market, Chinese market.
Yeah.
Then that would be a whole different life change, and then I couldn't prepare for that. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in my let go and let God phase of my life.
Over.
Yeah, because every time I try to plan something, or I think I know how my life is going to go, it takes a drastic turn.
Yeah, best laid plans, they just don't.
Yeah.
They just go with it.
But yeah, the LA social paradigm is interesting. You would think it's a very social place because of all the influencer culture and
so many people.
Yeah, and just social media perpetuates this notion that everyone's at a party, everyone's with people, and I feel like it's a lot more lonely than the average person would think.
It's just, they're staged.
Yeah, it's all fake. It's all fake.
It's all fake. It's the land of plastic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I agree with you. It's very difficult to meet people here. Very difficult to meet people that you enjoy spending time with.
Right, because you can meet people, plenty of people, but I don't want to see you again. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and there's plenty of parties I've been to where it's like, didn't even have to go to that.
Right.
Could have left a lot earlier.
Yep. I could have had 2 hours more of sleep and spent $80 less at the bar. And
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had many of those nights where I just wish I had stayed home. But then, you know, it's like I should be taking advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you never know, you know. I mean, you can just turn the corner on a night out and
it's kind of the hope. I feel like everyone goes out.
Everyone's on the hope.
Yeah. Living on a prayer.
Yeah, I'm almost. I just don't even looking for things here these days. I go away, you know.
Yep.
Where people are people, and I run into them.
Yep.
And things happen naturally as they're meant to, you know.
Precisely. There's no forcing it.
Yeah, I took myself off. I was on Tinder. A long time ago. And it was fun for what it was, you know, because it was at the beginning, in particular, it was constant. You're just hooking up, you know. And
yeah, it's the gamification of like romance.
Yeah. None of them, even if someone did look exactly like their photo, when you were chatting to them in a text message, that's one thing.
It's a different person
because they get to think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. There's that premeditation.
Yeah. You get to like come out with a nice line, and then you meet them for real, and it's a different person.
Yeah.
And so you know that it's not really going to go anywhere, or but I'd like to see what happens. But they always tended to be very different people than who I am.
Then you are naturally, you mean?
Than who I thought it was as well. What I thought, like we had kind of made a connection. That wasn't just a physical thing.
Right.
That when we actually were face to face and talking, there was just worlds apart. I'm like,
yep.
Probably got 2 nights of this, you know, or whatever it might be, and then
that's why it's kind of a wasted effort.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not like a hooker upper.
Yeah.
It's like not my thing. And that's why like I feel like there's people are like, oh, are you seeing someone? I'm like, yeah, here and there, but I really don't chase that like title or that status. I feel like I don't need to have like a roster things nowadays. It doesn't interest me.
It's
but
quite
finding
vulgar.
finding genuine connection here is proving to be difficult. So
Very, very
I'm in a
hard.
catch-22.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to give advice on that one because, like I said, for the most part, I have interactions with people, but I know it's almost pointless to try say, hey, do you want to, move on here, or like, you just get that feeling you're regardless if they want to, you're going to get knocked back anyway.
Right.
And it's not for the fear of, I could care less about rejection at this point. It's not that. I just like kind of sense I'm wasting my time.
Truly, yeah. And time is non-renewable.
No.
And yeah, I feel like that's kind of why if it's going to happen, I'm kind of going to let it be fated.
Yeah.
I'm sick of spinning my wheels.
That's the only, I think that's the best way forward. And with Tinder, I stopped using it, and then pandemic, I started doing it again.
Oh yeah, I mean, and ushered in a whole new era of dating. I feel like,
but not even dating because
it's not. Yeah.
No, it's not dating. And then on top of it, all of these girls are all OnlyFans.
Yeah.
All of them promoting themselves, or an agency is promoting them, or whatever the case may be. And it's just constant. And now, have you ever been tempted down that road of easy money?
Yeah, I have friends that work in that industry, and you can see people become quote unquote self-made very quickly. But again, going back to like how I was raised, it's not necessarily, something I would choose for myself just because of it's a lingering thing in your life. It's not so easily, you can't cut it out.
No.
So and the internet lasts forever, of course. So.
Yes. Yeah. And there's that fallacy of it that you pointed out when people, you said like quote unquote self-made, like there's this idea that it's a career. When
there's a shelf life.
Yeah, you can't go any further than what you're doing. If you go to the limit of whatever that is in your mind that you're willing to do on that, that's the end of your career. There's no career. It's your youth.
Precisely.
You're selling your youth.
You have to know how to invest, and you better be wise with your finances. And a lot of people that I know that did not, and they blew through the cash, and they were wearing designer, and nothing wrong with buying yourself something nice, but it's yourself. Like, you got to think long term.
Yeah, you must. That easy money must be. I've thought like, man, if I was a girl, I mean, certain things. Even when I was a lot younger, I was strippers. Right? Yeah. And I was like, hey, I mean, I'd do that. Yeah. I was younger, why not? The wiser I get, and what I can see the damage that it'll do. Not now. Not when a girl's 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. You start getting 28, 29, 30. Who are you looking for? What are you looking for in a man? Because I can tell you what a man is looking for. And when you're 30 and that's what your history is, a man that you're looking for is not looking for you.
No.
So a girl's going to have to realize it might be a lot of fun, a lot of this right now. Like you said, either set yourself up. Yep.
Be strategic with it.
Yeah. But if your idea is to find a partner, you have to bear that in mind that it's either you lie to him.
Right.
It's going to come out though.
Exactly.
Because women certainly look for different things in a man, in men, than a man is looking for in a woman. Yep. I can speak for myself personally, but I believe it's in general. It's just how we're made. That we want youth, we want purity.
Precisely.
Beauty, youth, and purity.
And that boils down to biology, reproduction, all that good stuff. So.
Sorry, 1 second.